Steamer quarantine, surviving the quarantine episode today. Shelby Coit is with me. Shelby is a high school special education teacher and has been with the district a while and just a real leader in our district and does a lot of things. So, Shelby, I appreciate you joining me this morning, I guess it is.
I appreciate you asking me, Daryl.
So tell me a little bit about what you've learned about yourself or the school during this time period.
I think one of the first things I've learned about myself is, even though I would categorize myself as an introvert, staying at home is very difficult. I think the first couple of weeks, it was nice for us because my husband had just come off of coaching back-to-back seasons with football and basketball. The day that this announcement was made, our last day of school, he literally just traveled back from state. And so, it was really, we kind of were cherishing that family time together. And we still are, but it's just a lot of, I feel like, trying to adjust to a new normal. Because we were used to being on the go so much before, with supporting him and being at work and Knox being at school, that now we really kind of are finding ourselves trying to establish a new routine and setting new purposes for ourselves every day so that, we feel like we have a reason to get up. The remote learning has definitely helped with that. My husband also got started with that. Iowa started a little bit later than us, but I think that has helped for us having those purposes. But it's been difficult for my son to adjust to us having to do our work during the day. He's normally at school and doesn't see that part of it. So usually when mommy and daddy are around, we have a lot of time for him, and it's been an adjustment. But I think with the school that I truly have learned, we've always had mottos. I've been here for 21 years where we've always really focused that it's a school where everybody is somebody, and like really focused on caring about our students. But I have just really seen that emphasized throughout this whole entire process of our number one concern is our students' well-being, and really being able to empathize with what they're experiencing during this time, because as difficult it is for us with being adults, I just can't imagine. I know even with my own son, watching him, we didn't think that he was processing as much of it as what we then later started to realize with some of the comments that he made. But it's a lot. It's definitely a lot. So I appreciate the school being so focused on really caring about the students and, again, following through. Sometimes you see people having mottos, but you don't always see it in action. And I think we definitely show that is truly what our, belief is for our district.
You said the words, getting up and, sort of setting a purpose. I like that phrase, setting a purpose. That's been challenging at times. And everybody's role is so different. We are searching for roles at times too. It's unique. It really is.
I have laughed multiple times about this. When this first occurred, I knew that we were going to have spring break in there. And then we had that first week, where we put some materials out for students if they wanted to continue working on things. I made a to-do list that, I had it on the calendar every day what I was going to do. And I am still trying to get some of those things done because I think when it hit a little bit harder emotionally than what I expected it to. And so I did quickly realize, I read a really good article about that feeling you're feeling right now is grief.
Yeah.
You are grieving over what is lost. And I think for a big part of me, I am somebody that I struggle not knowing and not being in control of a situation. And there have been so many unknowns with all of this. So I truly did. I had to regroup myself, and I had to get myself kind of out of that funk that I was starting to let myself get into with some of it, and make sure that we all have something we're looking forward to each day. We started with my son. He gets to get up every day and tell us 3 things that he wants to do. And we put those on a whiteboard, and then we know that, we've at least helped him accomplish, or given him something that he wanted to do for the day. And it makes us feel better when we go to bed at night after having to tell him multiple times, we can't do that right now. So yeah, I think just finding ways to make things work, and to reassure yourself too that you're doing an okay job and you're doing the best that you can.
Yeah, that is excellent thinking. You said getting yourself out of these funks. That's happened a couple times, and as I've had these conversations with different people, students, parents, everybody, that sort of managing those emotions and the funk that's sort of new to us is different. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So, have you learned anything from others about sort of managing the quarantine? Tell us a little bit about that.
I think so. One of the things that I started to learn, I think, because like I said, I was appreciating our family time so much at the beginning of it that I was really staying kind of isolated too, with my family, my focus being on my family. And the more I started reaching out to others, some of my colleagues, they live alone, and seeing some of those needs that once I started reaching out and making those connections, I realized how beneficial that was for me as well, that you do need those people outside of your family, as well. And so I think too, just, Miss Froling and I are really good friends. We have a lot of the same similarities with different things like TV shows. She's been excellent about sending me hey, check this out. I think this is something you would like. And just finding those things to bring us joy during this time and sharing them with each other, sharing our ideas with each other as well. So,
again, we've talked about searching for roles and finding different things. When this idea sort of, I'm a big podcast fan. And so the guy who sort of motivated me to do these podcasts, I found a lot of value in talking to people about how they're managing this, and it's been therapeutic for me as well. So part of the reason I keep doing it and setting these weekly interviews up and get through 5 or 6 of them, it's certainly worth it. So I agree with you. Shelby, is there anything you guys do to take care of yourselves at home and your son? And
yeah, we, like I said, we've tried to set those purposes and making sure that we're listening to each other of kind of what we need on a daily basis to get through the day. Another thing with us being on the go a lot, we've never been big people to sit on certain nights and watch a TV show. And we stumbled across the Ellen Game of Games one night during this. And we laughed the entire time. We have Hulu, and so we went back and we've been watching episodes, but Tuesday nights are big in our house now. Like, that gives us something to look forward to. We also, over Christmas break, had finally gotten into watching The Masked Singer, watching old episodes of that. And so we have something for Wednesday nights to look forward to. But just, those things of finding things that we have a common ground with that we can enjoy. For Easter, I had ordered some new games for Knox that we've been making sure that we sit down and play together as a family. And so, just for the most part, finding some fun activities to do together and laugh. And we have a dartboard that we got at Christmas time, and I have provided a lot of laughter in my household with me playing darts, because there's a lot of times only one dart hits the board and the other ones are flying off to the walls. And so my son gets a kick out of that because he gets to beat me quite a bit in darts. But yeah.
Survivor has been our sort of Wednesday night go-to. Tonight's Survivor night, so it's that's a lot of fun. It
is fun to have something like that you can all, we're rushing through dinner so we can all sit down together and watch it.
So many people sort of get and find inspiration. I will say the social media piece has probably gotten to have a lot better reputation than it has in the past. Have there been any favorite social media themes or people you follow or things that you've found you're like, oh, I really like that?
Yeah, well, it's I don't know if you'd really, I think maybe you'd call him social media, but somebody that I have followed for quite a while, and I know you follow him as well because you share things with us at work all the time, but John Spencer, I really value what he puts out. was so impressed with him. I felt like the first week of this really hitting, he put out an amazing piece on one of his colleagues really struggling because she was doing these online classes, where students could come in and join and nobody was coming in.
Yeah.
And I knew for myself and my other colleagues that we were really struggling with that. Like we were taking it personally, and the whole thing just really talked about, it's not a personal thing. You're a good teacher. This is new to everyone, and students are going through different things. And so I've always appreciated how timely he is, as fast as education moves with different ideas, that I feel like he is just always on top of it. Another person that I think I have valued, and I don't follow her everything that she does, but a couple years ago, Beth Lower asked me to go watch a documentary at the theaters with her. It was Made for More by Rachel Hollis. I had never read the book. I kind of knew a little bit and heard some things about her. But the messages that she sends out about just your mindset, I remember sitting in that movie or the documentary, and she said something to the effect, and I think she used a different example, but this is the one I always tell myself when I feel like I need to hear it is, you don't get overwhelmed, you do overwhelmed. And it's that mindset of you're allowing yourself to get there. And so really it's how your attitude about something and how you approach it that has the biggest, lays the biggest path for the outcome of it. And that has helped me a lot through this, just kind of reminding myself, like I'm choosing to feel this way, and I can turn that around with just developing a new attitude over it. So
you said Rachel Hollis is her name?
She's the author of Girl Wash Your Face. Okay. I can't remember the other ones. And again, I still have never read the books. Yeah. but it's definitely, I think she puts out some good information that can apply to everyone.
Yeah. What advice do you have for any fellow Steamers out there as we wrap this up?
I think the biggest thing is, stay flexible. As we can see, I don't think we can predict what is going to happen with any of this. I have an interesting case with living in Iowa, but I teach in Illinois. And so watching just even the difference between how things are being handled across the states has been interesting for me, and just keeping that open mindset and also cutting yourself some slack. I guess, there are days that even though I just talked about keeping the right attitude, that you're going to have that slump again. And then you just have to be able to pull yourself out of it and be okay with things, because nobody is going to be perfect throughout this or handle all the situations correctly. I just saw a really good thing yesterday too about, with all these differences happening, I know in the state of Iowa, they're starting to open up some more things, although I have found it surprising that a lot of the businesses in Clinton are saying they're not going to open back up, or they're going to stay doing what they've been doing. But I think we've seen a lot of criticism of different people making their own choices. And there was a nice, blog about be kind, because you don't know that person's story. Yeah. And so understand that everybody is in a different place going through this. And I know, even talking with some of my different friends, I have said, I respect your decisions you're making, as I just ask that you do the same for me. And we all have to handle it the way that we feel it's best for us and our families.
I would agree. Self-preservation and family preservation. I've told parents a few times, your family is way more important than, some of the educational activities we're asking you to take care of at times, and cut yourself some slack. You're right. That's great advice. I've really appreciated the time today, and just some really great conversation and thinking about how to manage this. So I appreciate your time and willingness to share, and keep up the good work for the students. You've been doing a great job, and the high school has. And I know we've got just some Mr. Gosh's notes that are going to go out about ending the year as best we can, and looking forward to that. So thanks again, and keep up the great work.
Well, thank you. And thanks for everything that you're doing at your level as well. We appreciate the support, the communication. We really couldn't ask for much more. I do